Hey everybody, it's Steve Poikinen. This is Slow News Day Live. I hope everyone's having a good, it's Wednesday, right? I believe Wednesday so far. Having a good, so here's what I would like to do. Uh, because we live in a fucking cartoon, and because we live in the crazy country, uh, let me put it this way. Jimmy Dore from time to time will go on a rant about how this is a nation of adult children of alcoholics, in that um, we will demonize the person who's pointing out that we're being abused. And in this case, we're being abused by a deeply sociopathic and broken on purpose system. And when you point that out to someone who is invested into the system, or someone who is so distracted that the only reality they know is the system, they attack you. They attack you for pointing that out. That's behavior that aligns with an adult child of an alcoholic. Aaron Matei got to interview his dad, Gabor Matei, who's a famous author and is a psychologist, psychiatrist. In that interview, they were trying to break down the psychology of the Russiagate narrative, and honestly, and just how psychologically and emotionally abused our country has had to be to get to the point where something like Russiagate is an acceptable narrative. If you're looking at it from the perspective of, oh, we just sort of let this happen. Okay, I'm fucking this up. I want to break down the psychology of a crazy country, and I don't know how to do that other than by providing examples of what I've personally experienced in my own life. So I'm going to do that, or I'm going to try and do that by letting you guys know, if you're giving an example of what happened this past weekend. It was at my goddaughter's birthday barbecue. There were a relatively homogenous group of people there, not in terms of like political identity or even net worth, but it's fucking Boulder Creek, man. It was a bunch of white dudes hanging out barbecuing, but there is a lot of diversity of thought, and what I'm trying to get at is that like, we had this one hella big dude who was drunk off his ass, who at one point decided that he was going to take over the music, and he did so by playing the most mainstream, god-awful pop country and fucking bro country rap shit I have ever heard in my entire life. And so, me being the kind of asshole that I am, I was like, "Hey, dude, like, what about this speaks to you? Because I've known you for quite a while now, and I've seen you at Hank 3 shows, and I know you listen to Hank 3, and Hank Three's got Pop Country Really Sucks in one of his songs, and he lets you know that it's fucking manufactured music and that the artists are purely in it for the money, and yet here you are. Like, what about this speaks to you?" You know, and after he got mad and after he calmed down, and when we finally got to the heart of the matter, um, he was like, I don't have to think about it. It's catchy. It I really I don't have to think about it. And that was it. That was the whole fucking thing. He didn't his goal is to get through life without doing a whole lot of thinking. Like, he wants the money, he wants the toys, he just doesn't wanna have to think about where the toys came from or how the money was earned or what that reflects about, like, where his class is or where his character is going. So if and I'm using this guy as like a benchmark for middle America, not in terms of what he makes for a living, but this is a construction foreman who listens to pop country and is almost 40 and wears his hat backwards. So what I'm trying to get at is that he is representative of the demographic that is not like me or is not like the people that I have on my podcast or is not like the people who watch this show or other shows who live um not just uh not just like left politics or politics in general, but who are incredibly engaged in the world around them and who realize that we are being fed a narrative and have a desire to speak outside of that narrative. He's not that guy. So, uh, as a representative of the people that we ultimately need to reach, if we're going to move past this two-party capitalist one masquerade two parties masquerading as one capitalist party bullshit, we're going to move past that. We've got to get to a point to where we can communicate with the type of people who are still going to fucking country music festivals to see if they'll get shot or not. um it's wild to me that we're at a point in 2019 where everybody can agree to a certain degree that the news is manipulated, that all of our elected officials are lying to us, that even sports are rigged. Um, but our that's where it stops. Like, identifying the problem, it seems to be the bar for most people. And I think that's because you're borderline ostracized just for identifying the problem correctly. Presenting a solution to the problem that doesn't involve doing everything we've already done that hasn't worked is grounds for immediate banishment from, whatever little bubble you're living in. We live in a profoundly sick society. We live in a profoundly sick culture. There's a quote that says it's no measure of health to be well adjusted in a profoundly sick society. Um, and I feel like we have to sit back and collectively give ourselves a well check, you know? Um, do you guys check your mental health on the regular at all? Do you see yourself going a direction that you maybe uh, that you know is bad for you, but you should uh, But you know, like there's I'm explaining this poorly. I have not had enough cannabis today. Um, I've said it on the show a lot before that we live in a manipulated reality. We live in a fucking cartoon. It's true. Um, because we live in that manipulated reality, we literally have to do harm to ourselves psychologically in order to appear well adjusted. That's doing things like going into outlandish debt or um, consuming for the sake of consumption, uh and not because you have a need, like to the point to where you are, that's the thing that's bringing you joy. um we don't we don't take care of ourselves because we're not necessarily encouraged to, like, I wanna say that, you know, over the last 20 years, the influx of people who are working out and doing yoga has skyrocketed, and to a degree that's absolutely true. But I don't know what the long-term benefits of that are outside of increase your productivity at work. And if that's all that we're getting out of it is increased productivity so that we can help fulfill someone else's dream by punching our time card or going to work, um, that again is not health for the sake of health. That's maintenance for the sake of optimal performance, and that's not something that we as human beings should be designed for. We should not be designed as instruments of labor and labor alone. Um, this show, in a lot of ways, is my mental health check. Not to see if I'm crazy, because I wouldn't fucking know, um, but because we live in a profoundly sick society, and it helps to fucking talk about this shit, get it off your chest. Um, there's some other stuff that I want to try and get to today, but I have chores and I have work in a couple of hours. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. I think that we need to figure out a lot more ways to ground ourselves, and I know that there's you know, contact with the actual earth being one of those things with your bare feet. Um, I work outdoors at one of my gigs. I'm outdoors all the time. Clearly, I'd prefer to shoot the show out here or shoot the live streams out here. Um, whatever it is that you do to give yourself a mental health check, man, please fucking do that. Because we live in a fucking cartoon. We live in the craziest country, I don't know, imaginable, because I got a pretty vivid imagination, but we have no problem voting for people who want to kill us, and we have no problem accepting that, um, that's the reality that has been designed for us. Yeah, yeah, take care of yourselves. Fuck, man. I'll be back here in a little bit. There's a couple of articles that I wanted to discuss in particular. Until then, good luck to us all.